Hey, everybody, welcome inside the sit down. Ryan Mayer now joined by Super Bowl winner, New England Patriots defensive lineman Lawrence Guy. Lawrence, thanks for taking some time as we lead up here to the big game coming up on Sunday.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm glad I could be a part of the show.
Of course, of course. And first off, just before we get into this year's matchup, but I want to take a look just from your perspective at this season for you guys with the Patriots. Just how do you put everything into perspective now, a month removed from when the season ended, and you've had some time to process things and how this all played out this year?
Um, you know, when you sit here and reflect on everything, you reflect on the season, and the thing that comes to my mind is I'm proud that we sat there and fought as a team. I'm happy that we understood the challenges that we were going to face and kept on pushing. We didn't have a season which we wish we had. Everybody wants to go to the Super Bowl. Everybody wants to go to the playoffs. We wasn't able to do that. But the challenges that we faced through the off season to regular season to shutting down the building, it made us better as men. It made us understand the situations that are occurring in our own lives and at work. Everybody has different family backgrounds. Everybody has different personal lives. But when you come in the building, all that was there now. Because you're not leaving as much. You're on Zoom doing the meeting, so everybody see the background. Kids coming in and out. You might hear some stuff in the background, people talking and all that. But it got to another personal side of the game that people never really get to see, because when you're at work, you're in the locker room, everybody shuts it all off. But when you're at home doing these Zoom meetings, it brings it back into reality. Reality is like, hey, this is what's going on. So we all got to get in touch with ourselves a little bit better, and we all got to improve as men and as players, because it's not an easy season to come up and play this year. Like, nobody can say it was an easy season. We traveled and played on the same day. One in the first time in the NFL, but the accomplishments that we did accomplish during the year, during everyday battles, everyday situations, you just got to be proud of and understand that we continue to keep on going instead of just putting our heads down and running back and like, oh, what, the season's over. No, we continue to fight because we all had a bigger goal. We all play for each other.
And it certainly was a wild season full of emotions, both up and down, just in terms of, as you mentioned, being outside the building on Zoom meetings. And it was definitely interesting to follow you guys during the course of this year. So now I just want you to take me back a little bit to the first Super Bowl appearance for you. And in the lead up to the game, what were the emotions like? Because this is something, we hear from guys all the time. This is something you dream about as a kid. You're in the backyard counting down and making the big play in your imagination. Just what were those emotions like through that week and leading up to the game?
For my first Super Bowl, everybody says this, but not a lot of people do it. You don't soak it in. Everybody's like, oh, you got to soak it in. It's amazing. You really don't soak it in the first one, and it's hard to say that because everybody's like, no, I took it all. I'm like, no, you really have to soak in, but you really don't get to soak in it all in. There's a lot going on. Who's coming to the game? Where they staying at? Did they have a good trip to the game? We're playing, we're practicing. You're going to another location to practice. You're getting dressed there, coming back, doing meetings, waking up in the morning, going to a hotel room or a little suite, and you're doing it. So all that's weird. So you're trying to get into the groove, but what's a little funky that you're not in the groove. But when you get into the game, I think the biggest thing that everybody, like Bill harps on this a lot, and you don't get it until you experience it. You're like 25 to 30 minutes before the game starts. You're just
Right.
sitting on the field. You got the Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem. You got all this going on. Before it's like a good 10 minutes. Hey, we come out, boom, this team's here, this team's there. You do the national anthem, you're done. You just kick off. You got all this other stuff, the nominees, you got everything. So this is time to sit and you're standing. Your legs get a little a little lazy a little bit. They're not as fresh. And like you're trying to keep them going, but you just don't think about that. You're just like, oh, this is amazing. You're looking around like this is gonna be a great game. Like look what's going on. You get excited. The first play goes, and it clicks in, and you realize you're like, hey, it's still a football game, but there's more TV timeouts. So
Right.
you're sitting on the TV timeout. You're like, okay, it's another TV timeout. So everything's like you'll see a one big play. Don't let nobody go out of bounds. They
Right.
go out of bounds. They TV timeout. So now you just sitting and sitting and sitting. So you just don't get to soak that in. You're just trying to like, oh, I can't get this going. This is having TV timeouts going. Then halftime lasts for so long. So you're not really getting into the mood. But it's just so exciting that you're always amped up. You're like, oh man, I got to do. Oh, this is amazing. Your mind is going 1,000 miles. Like, okay, this is going to happen. Well, now they got time to change the play because we got a TV timeout. So they're going to switch it all up. Everything's just going. You don't really enjoy the game. My second experience was a little bit better.
Right.
I sat there and enjoyed the atmosphere. You just soaked it in. You enjoyed the compliments that you and your teammates just did. So your family's there, you're enjoying it, you're having a good time, you're talking, you're more relaxed, your eyes that means you get into the game, you're like, this is why we're here. We're here because we did so much to get here. We accomplished that everything that everybody said we wasn't supposed to accomplish, and we accomplished the goals that we set out to achieve in the beginning of the year. And when that first kickoff happens, everybody says the game starts when the first play is the kickoff. First kickoff happens, boom. But the difference between the first and second one is that second one, you're enjoying every moment of it.
Right.
You're not worried about what's going on. I had a full conversation with every single ref, every TV timeout. And I'm sitting there like, hey man, like when they going to stop this? Like who do you think paid for this spotlight? You just enjoying being there. And it's like, win or lose, big play or not big play, you're playing in the Super Bowl. So you should be happy and not be stressful out about, oh, what's going on? We should do this, we should do that. Malaysia, no, you just keep it going and remind yourself it's just another game. Win or lose, it's a game that you are able to play again. So you just soak that in. I lost the first Super Bowl, so it sucked. So
yeah, I was gonna say
it sucked. It sucked.
Yeah, you ended up on both sides of the ledger, of course, losing the first one, then coming back, winning the second one. And in both of those cases, your quarterback, of course, was Tom Brady, and now back in the game for him. I wonder, when you think back to those weeks the week leading up to the Super Bowl in each case, what you noticed from him, because this is a guy now that he's been to 10 of these. And you mentioned in the second one, you felt more comfortable than the first. So just what stood out to you from his preparation throughout the course of the week leading up to the game?
The cool demeanor, like everything was just calm. Have an understanding of the team. You got 2 weeks to prepare. That's why I say the first one is different than the second one. The first one, like, I got 2 weeks to prepare. You got to, the second one is a little easier. And he's been to so many Super Bowls. He understands it's just another game. So you take it as that. He's like, hey, win or lose, it's just another game. You're going to be upset if you lose. You're going to be happy if you win. It's just you get a trophy at the end at this game, and if you don't win, you don't get a trophy. But the regular season, you don't get a trophy, you just get a win. So he just took it as that. The preparation was always the same. He prepares on the flight. He goes in there. He takes every detail that you need to have, and like, this is what might hurt us. This will not hurt us. This will play might work. This will don't hit. If they do this changes the way they run their offense. If we make this play, they might switch the way their defense. And you just take that preparation because Tom's an extra coach. And people don't understand that, like, hey, the coaching aspect of what he's able to do is something special. Now, a lot of players have that ability to do, but he has that ability to coach as he's playing. And that's how he takes their approach to the game. But I like the demeanor is just calm. You don't worry about every other thing in the world, because you talk to any player that's played in the Super Bowl, they say, I got to worry about my family coming, who's coming from my family, how many tickets I got, this hotel room out here, do you need a rental car? It's a lot that goes on in a lot of people's minds. A lot of players have to deal with this. Once you go to a multiples, you're just like, I don't got to really deal with all that. It just calms it down. Like, oh, hey, you guys can make it, that'd be great. It just makes it a easier thing. And with Tom, you can see the demeanor. He's like, he's not worried about all that stress in the background of who's coming this and who's doing that. He's just like, hey, I'm here to play a game. I'm gonna get my treatments when I got to get it. We're gonna watch our film, how we're going to do it. And when we're out the building, you're not at home anymore. You're at the hotel, but you could now relax. And that's why you see from it, it's just more relaxed demeanor. And that's what happens when you go to multiple ones. And if you could learn from that, as a new players on like the Bucs learning from that, it's going to be like, oh, okay, look how calm he is. Let me ask him what's going on. And with this new COVID situation,
Right.
they're already at home. So it's a lot easier. See, same with Kansas City. A lot of people will probably stress out last year about who's coming, who's doing it. Now everything's just so much easier. They're like, we're staying here, we're traveling the day before the game. It makes life easier. So it's going to be a really exciting game in my mind because everybody got the same advantage.
Yeah, and I do wonder because I've seen you talk a little bit about this just from your perspective, and it's a question that I'm sure all of you guys in the Patriots organization are getting. Tom, of course, spent the entirety of his career there, and now down in Tampa Bay, he's in another Super Bowl. So, from your perspective and from the perspective of the locker room, are you guys really rooting for him on Sunday to go out and pick up his 7th Super Bowl win?
Of course. I am. Me personally, I'm rooting for Tom. Um, Not because he was a teammate of mine, not because he was a brother and on the team of mine. It was because of what his accomplishments are and what the legacy he's leaving behind. And I have said this multiple times now, and I truly believe it. When you lay roots into a business like he has, it makes people strive to be better than him. Like Jordan, Kobe was Jordan. Kobe's like, I want to be better than Jordan. So you got players that are going to take his accomplishments, the Super Bowl wins, the years he's been in, and try to get there. The like Reggie White, like I want to be better than him. How do I get there? How do I make to the years it is? How can do? You hear a lot of people quote his name because they strive to be better than what he was, and they understand the legacy that he left. And that's the same thing with Tom. The legacy that he's leaving, people want to be better. Same thing with Bill Belichick. As a coach, people are like, I want to be better than Bill. What can I do? You know, it's his their presence and legacy that they lay down. Everybody wants to accomplish that. Everybody wants to be better than that, and it's going to strive the new generation to actually move on and be like, hey, I could do it. You know, I could bring a team back. I could accomplish something.
And it's interesting to me that you mentioned the Michael Jordan, the Kobe Bryant comparison for Tom Brady, because last week, Tony Romo, the man who's going to be calling the game here for CBS, along with Jim Nantz, was mentioning that he's so excited about this matchup because it's like a late stage Michael Jordan against a early stage LeBron. It's that fantasy type of matchup that we never really get to see in sports. We just sit around talking in the barbershop about it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you see this one too, with Pat Mahomes coming in now trying to go 2 for 2 in Super Bowls?
Of course, you got to look at it like that. And I agree. That's a great analogy right there. The thing is Jordan at the end of his career wasn't doing as much as Tom is at the end of his career. Tom is still an elite quarterback. At the age he is, there's quarterbacks wishing they still had the talent that Tom had in year 2 right now. And they're year 2, 3, 4. They're like, man, I wish I was as good as Tom. So that's the best thing. You got somebody that's at the top of his career still, and another person that's young at the top of his career, but to go head to head, and how they're going to build their team by leadership to come face each other in the game. Oh, it's going to be amazing because you don't see the dynamic of the game happen. How are they going? Are they going to run the ball more? They're going to throw the ball, short passes, long passes, but all that is determined about how the game starts off on special teams. The special teams play the first play of the game, and that's going to determine how the game is dealt. If you take that ball back 100 yards, it kills all demeanor. I don't care if people say it's like the demeanor has changed. Special teams change the game, and it gives you better field and worse field advantage. And I feel like that's going to be the key to this game.
That is a really good point, and it's something we've seen in Super Bowls past with a lot of those, as you mentioned, kick returns for touchdowns that end up swinging the momentum of a game either early or late. And now looking at Pat Mahomes, because this is a guy that you've seen multiple times here in your career, and you've seen him from afar as well. From your perspective as a defensive lineman, we hear all the time about just how good he is. How do you look at him, and what makes him so difficult to stop?
I'm pausing because you have to think about it now. That people wonder what makes that man a great quarterback. not the ability to throw the ball, not the ability to throw the ball across the body. It's the ability to understand where he's at in his surroundings and never panic. Panicking kills every player. The nervousness, and I was like, I'm not confident anymore. This is going to happen. He's getting hit. You just don't see that out of Mahomes. You see him. He'll get out the pocket. He'll read the field. He'll understand, and he'll wait for other players to panic. And that's why I say, like, you'll see people panicking, come out of coverage to go, I need to go get him. He's going to run the ball. And his cool demeanor, he just throws the ball right there. He'll throw the ball across his body, across the field, and have the confidence that his wide receiver, his tight end, is going to catch the ball because they're understanding where they need to be if he scrambles. And they work on that. But the panic is never there. Yeah, you've seen him throwing interceptions. You've seen him throw the ball clearly way out of bounds. But he understands that that's going to happen in the game. Somebody's going to get an interception here and there. So you're going to throw the ball out of bounds. You're going to misread coverage and throw it into the ground. But the cool demeanor that he has to continue to work on that with his other teammates makes him so difficult to play with because he's like, okay, I know my weakness of my offensive line. I know my weakness of my arm. I know what I got to do. But I understand if this player takes this route against this coverage and I get out the pocket and he sees me go, he's going to cut back 2 yards and I can throw the ball there and consistently works on that. That's what makes it so good as a quarterback. He takes what he learns from the film and on the practice field and continues to do the repetition for when he's able to be in those situations, he could dominate on that play.
Yeah, I think we saw that a perfect example of that a couple of times in that Bills game where he had a free rusher in his face, just sidestep, move just a little bit within the pocket, and is able to find a wide open guy for a big play. We've seen that numerous times, and we saw it in the AFC Championship game as well. So, Lawrence, for you now, I do wonder here as you're looking at this matchup and looking ahead to Sunday and getting ready to watch the game, is there a Super Bowl snack that you are going to enjoy on Sunday, or maybe you're looking forward to that is going to be on the spread for you? Or is it just kind of a normal day where you're just going about your normal diet?
No, I'm going to take some jalapenos. I'm going to cut them in half, right? I'm going to get some cottage cheese. Some cream cheese. I'm going to get some regular shredded cheese, put a little bit of seasoning on there. Some people put Lowry, some people put some other stuff. I use Holy Hog, put a little bit of barbecue seasoning, get some bacon. I'm gonna wrap that around and boom, put a toothpick in it, throw it on the grill for about 30 minutes and have a little jalapeno popper.
There you go. Okay. I that sounds amazing. I might actually have to steal that idea and make that here for myself, to say the least. So the final question before I get you out of here. Do we have a pick for this year's game? Or I know you said you're cheering for Brady. Do you think he's actually the one that's going to come out on top? Do we have a pick?
I'm picking the Bucs just because of that aspect right there. You know, everybody has a player or a team like I really want it. You know, I'm rooting for Tom. You know, so Tom's on the Bucs. I'm root for that. That's what people say that they root for LeBron. Doesn't matter what team he's on. I'm gonna root for them. That means I'm gonna root for that team. I'm rooting for the Bucs just because Tom's on there, and I know a couple of more players on there, and it'd be an awesome accomplishment if they're able to do that.
There you have it. Rooting for the Bucs. Lawrence, thank you so much for taking the time, and let's see what happens here on Sunday. Should be a fun one.
Oh yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be one you want to watch with the family. You talk about for a while.